he's kind of an interesting player where there's some people in the national media that I think haven't changed their opinion on him, even though he made big strides from year one to year two. They kind of have their own formulated opinions on him where he's never going to hit these completion percentages or do this, and he's not a typical type of quarterback. Where do you fall on Josh Allen, especially after seeing the growth that he made from his rookie year to his through his second season?
Yeah, I absolutely love the progression that he made. I always say it takes 4 seconds to make an impression and 4 years to change it. So when Josh Allen came in the league and everyone said he's a strong armed, inaccurate quarterback, that's what the narrative became. It didn't matter last year that 90% of the way through the season he was leading the NFL in actually I probably got this stat from your guys' podcast listening to it on my way to Bills games, but zero to 19 yards, he had like the top rating in the NFL. But no one could wrap their mind around that. He's still so inaccurate. And last year he wasn't hitting on deep balls, which is a lot of, I don't want to say luck, but it's chemistry with the receivers, it's protection holding up, it's a number of different things when you're hitting these deep balls down the field, which did come towards the end of the year. But I loved his progression from year one to year two. I thought his pocket presence was better. That may have come through a revamped, improved offensive line. I thought his pocket presence was better. I thought he made better pre-snap decisions. And the reason I say that is because the ball got out of his hands quicker. Like he knew where he was going based upon safety rotations before the snap even happened. Some of my favorite plays I saw all year was just a quick hitch to John Brown with 10 yards off of coverage with a one hitch and rip it out there, and the Bills get 9 yards. Like that's the kind of stuff that I was dying to see him do his rookie year, and he did last year. Now, what kind of step can he make this year, and where do we need to see him improve? And I think some of the decision making, people call it hero ball, and that's another narrative. And that's something Josh Allen may admit that when you come from Wyoming and everything falls on your shoulders, at times you feel like you got to do something heroic to make a play. And I think I've heard him say that, or someone else said that, and he agreed with it. But he's just got to continue to get past that. I want to see what he can do with a bona fide number one receiver in Stephon Diggs with two other guys that can flat separate away from him. Cole Beasley and John Brown can get open, and then you add a Diggs who is a phenomenal route runner, and I'm anxious just to see what he can do. But I absolutely love his competitiveness. I can't tell you how many text messages I got from people, and I talk about the impression deal. Well, there's a lot of people in, let's say, Louisville, Kentucky, where I live now, who didn't know a lot about Josh Allen and formed their opinion off of one game, the Thanksgiving game. All of a sudden, he's this beast athlete that can throw on the move. He's a winner. He won't be denied a first down on a QB sneak and all this. Well, maybe that's the new narrative on Josh Allen. And I'm excited to see what he can do if he can make another jump into year three, because we don't need him to be Tom Brady for the Bills to make a playoff run this year. Or you could name, we don't need him to be Patrick Mahomes, I guess you could say. The Bills defense is so good, and they have enough talent out there that he's just got to be consistent.
One thing I'd love is your perspective on playing for different types of quarterbacks, because when you were in Buffalo, you played for some true pocket passers. You had guys that had a lack of mobility, like a Kyle Orton, and then you played with a Tyrod Taylor, a guy that could scramble and run. Josh likes to run with the ball. He throws on the run. What are the pros and cons of playing for a mobile quarterback? Because sometimes I think maybe if you have a pocket passer, you just know I have to be one-on-one with my assignment. And if I can beat this guy, the quarterback can get it out. But if he takes off too early, that could lead to some issues of their own. So what's your perspective on playing for a quarterback or playing in front of a quarterback like Josh Allen, who has that mobility, who will take off sometimes, maybe a little bit too soon from time to time?
Yeah, so a guy like maybe a Kyle Orton, who I'm trying to think who was the least mobile quarterback I ever played with, and I'll say KO. But a guy like him, he knows he's got to get rid of the ball fast, and so you might not have to block as long for a guy like Kyle, but he's never going to save you from a sack. I'll never forget it. I got beat after, not immediately, but it was a line game, so it's develops, and we're at Denver, and Von Miller finally beats me, and Kyle dives on the ground. I'm like, dude, I haven't given up a sack all year, and you just dove on the ground. Like step to your left, but that's Kyle's not going to take shots like that. So for an offensive line perspective, sometimes you got to pass protect a little bit longer. As a tackle, you probably got to watch your hands a little bit because you could always escape around you. But ultimately, you're blocking the protection that's called, and whether it's a pocket passer or a guy who could scramble, that he could always escape the pocket. I think guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, even Patrick Mahomes to an extent, those guys that move a ton, Russell Wilson, the older they get, as the shots mount up, you just got to take less and less hits as your career progresses.